And now it's time. I said and now I said it's time. And now for something completely machinima. And now for something completely machinima. And now for something almost entirely, very precisely, but just not exclusively, sort of adjacently, kind of approximately, complete machinima.
So, this episode is where we do our year in review. What else do I want to say? I want to say, for example, what are our predictions next year? Well, okay. Do you want me to go on this one to start with?
Yeah.
You've got the floor.
Okay. Well, obviously, I think AI is going to become more central to the process, not optional. We've seen it being you're either against it or you're for it. I don't think there's an against it anymore. I don't think if you're an animation creator, machinima creator, it's not an option anymore. It's no longer in that domain. It's core. It's central to what you're going to be doing. So that's my position in the sand on generative tools. I think machinima and virtual production will become virtually indistinguishable. What it's called, I've no idea, because I don't think virtual production or machinima as terms necessarily get to the core of what this new real-time technique is. So there's a debate maybe to pin it down to something that's closer to what actually is the convergence of these two things. I do think machinima's definition has broadened. It has definitely, it's a catch-all, most definitely, for all kinds of real-time game engine AI-based storytelling. And it's hugely flexible and multicultural in its categorization. I think we're going to see more professionalization and scaling up. I think we're going to see more big budget stuff. I think we're going to see more professional studio adoption. I mean, we're already, for example, seeing, professional actors like Sam Crane, for example, picking up from his Grand Theft Hamlet success and saying, oh yeah, there's more scope for doing puppeted theatrical performance. Well, I mean this is not new. This has been done for at least 25 years that I can recall, but it's probably takes somebody like Sam and his audience to actually make it fly. So it'd be quite interesting to see how live puppeting is kind of advocated even more. I think we're going to see more fan and indie creativity. I think we're already seeing some outstanding quality work from amateur creators. I mean, that the quality of work that we've commented on this year from teams, even for example, what was the Minecraft short that we saw a couple of weeks ago? Kid Flash. Kid Flash. The quality of that made in that game was absolutely outstanding. And
we should mention, by the way, when we covered that in the episode, I had some questions and aired them that I didn't know whether that film was created entirely within Minecraft or if it was one of these Blender things that we've seen. The creative team got back to us by feedback and let us know it was created entirely in Minecraft using that BBS mod.
Yeah.
That
And
just
that
makes
it would already be impressive if it was Blender, but that is just mind-blowing
Yeah.
oh yeah.
based on what we know about Minecraft. Minecraft's been kind of a really hard hard rock to mine, pardon the pun, to get something done in there. And yeah, what they've achieved there is absolutely as good as the stuff we've seen people do in Blender with Minecraft assets. Absolutely as good.
We'll be
Absolutely.
watching them very closely, I think, to see what they do next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely outstanding quality. And from a, very small creative team, it blows me away what these guys can achieve. I think we're going to see more narrative experiments, probably using ambiguity and mood because that seems to be the flavor that everybody is moving towards. I guess that it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, but I do see that as a thread. I think we're probably going to see more remastering of classics as well, whether they are remade and remastered or I don't know. I think we're going to see more of that kind of thing. And I think we might see more retro games being used for creative work as well. And I think we're going to see more music as a what would you say? A distinctive signature to the creative work that folks might do. So yeah, that's my evaluation of the year. It's been a lovely year. I've really thoroughly enjoyed looking at everything that has been made and listening to all the critiques that you guys have added to the films that we've discussed. It's been fascinating.
I'd like to see something like the Predator film inspire people to be more experimental with how they use tools like iClone or Unreal, rather than just doing what everyone else does. Look at something like this, using the same tools, but it has such a completely different visual style to it, and learn from it. Even if you copy their style, it's doing something different. But give it your own flavor. What can you do differently that's maybe somewhere in between, or look at Killer of Killers and think, well, can I do this even more extreme than what they did? And, have fun, experiment, do something different, because you've got some good ideas for your story, but don't make it just look the same as everyone else's. That's a lesson I'm taking to heart myself. So I'd like to see other people do that as well.
That's great. I predict that if the Warner Brothers Midjourney lawsuit sides with Warner Brothers, there'll be an uncertainty in the AI creation community and perhaps a little stuttering throughout the year. But I think there's so much money to be made in AI that the major players will quickly negotiate with places like YouTube and will clean their databases. And I think we'll see something like what Phil was suggesting, which is a layering out of licensing, a more ethical approach to it. Because frankly, when AI started out, all the big companies simply got greedy and went out and stole everything that they could. And now they're paying the penalty for it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be anybody to stand in the way of the notion that these companies are greedy, but attributing this to greed almost gives them too much credit. I think it falls more in the. I mean that. Like, if it was greed, then it's like this was a scheme, and I don't give them that much credit. I think it was just dumb rudeness. Just complete thoughtlessness is what it was. The end result was theft, but it was just thoughtless. It was just, who cares? It's there, so it's ours. It was an entitled grab. So greed, you kind of feel is like a, I'm gonna. I mean, I guess ultimately, what's the difference? But yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, but don't most of these companies have massive legal teams that advise them on the ramifications of their choices? Didn't these people speak up?
They do. I just don't think Sam Altman strikes me as a person who listens to good advice.
I can't remember who
I
it
think
was.
the skibbity toilet image of Sam Altman is the most accurate metaphor. Just saying. I say that as someone who loves and uses ChatGPT for work. I love it. But he just strikes me as a bit of a douchebag. There's no other way to say it.
I can't remember who it was. It might have been Sam Altman. He was questioned about stealing stuff, and he said, "Well, who cares about if you take something from a library, you don't pay for it. You just take it."
No, literally,
Yeah.
that is the attitude. Is just this. It just no apparent concept of the relationship between an artist and their work.
And just stupid too.
Yeah. So he's the smartest stupid person that I can think of, because he's not dumb. Look what he helped make, but it just, I don't know. Some people are book smart and emotionally
very narrow vision.
Yeah.
Kind of person.
So, what am I looking forward to next year? Yeah, I don't have good broad fortune telling skill at all. Like I don't know what to expect. I do think that there will be some progress on this unresolved question that's hovering over AI. I don't think that the people who have their heads set against AI, I don't think they're going to be very easy to convince, even when that ethical, what a reasonable person might think is an ethical solution is put in place. There's some people who aren't objecting to it because of that. It's more on the principle of, well, what is it really? It's kind of this sense of, okay, if I've used this on the show before, I apologize, but I think of it this way. If I show up to a golf course and I've built a machine that will tee up the ball for me and hit the ball for me and then take me over and hit it to the next and take it all the way through and hit it in the hole, and I do all that, that's a pretty interesting technological advancement, right? The fact that you can get a machine, a robot, or whatever, one of Peter Rasmussen's type of robots where humanoid form is not important, it's just the objective is important. So this is a machine purposefully designed to just masterfully hit the golf ball and all that. And to invent that and put that out there and say, I invented that, that's pretty impressive. But to go and say, I am a professional golfer now, that's different. And that really would offend golfers who spend a lot of time figuring out the physics of their own body and how to hit the ball right and how to do all that stuff. And they spend all this time perfecting this craft of playing golf. And to show up with a machine that just does it all for me, and I sit back and smoke a cigarette, but I say I'm a professional golfer. I'm just as good as Tiger Woods. Why? Because my machine can get the ball in just as few strokes as Tiger Woods. That's offensive. And I feel like that some of the people who oppose AI oppose it in that sense, that it's just damn offensive. The idea that, it's kind of the dark side of what some look at as the positive of, hey, this opens up creative avenues for people who maybe wouldn't otherwise have them. And you can say that that's a positive thing, but to somebody who has slaved away to become a fabulous writer like Lisa, or become a fabulous artist like you name it, or a fabulous musician like such and such, and they've worked really hard at it, and it's not easy to be good at those things. And so to have someone just show up and be cranking out novels because ChatGPT can just do it by me typing a sentence, a vague idea, and it turns it into something, and people will buy it even though it sucks. They'll still buy it because the bar isn't all that high, really. It's just, I don't know. I think that there are human artists who find the whole notion of these tools offensive. That's going to get in their way, because the truth is that they are the people who are probably the most empowered to do the most magnificent things with these tools. But that mindset of, you're not a damn golfer. Stop calling yourself a golfer. You're not. You're a guy who built a machine that can golf, but you are not a golfer. And it seems silly, I guess. But when those golf machines start filling up all the slots at the US Open, maybe they've got a point, you know? Why should I keep golfing? What's the point? This schlub can show up and he's 300 pounds overweight and is drunk the whole time, but he's got a machine that can hit the ball, and he's a golfer now. That's who we're holding up and elevating and handing a trophy to. Wouldn't you get pissed off if you were a professional golfer? Golf is very competitive, you know? So
Of course.
I think that metaphor works within the art world, that there's people who have worked really hard to do this thing that is not easy to do. And that applies to any of the arts, from writing to painting to acting.
So do you see
to music,
more do you see more golfers or more robots this year then?
This year, more robots.
Mm.
I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable long term. I think that some of the people who are relying on the golfing robots are assuming that the public just doesn't give a shit. So I'm going to sell as much of this as I can. There are some novelists, low-grade novelists, who have been exposed in news stories where they got caught, where they actually published a novel and it still had one of the ChatGPT prompts in the text and someone missed it. There's people out there doing that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that if I was Lisa Morton, I would want to kick that person's ass, because they're selling novels like crazy. But I would want to beat their ass, you know? So I think that there's going to be a flux of it because it's so easy and it's so cheap and anybody can do it. But eventually, we're already seeing, we talk about AI slop and we use that to describe this effect of someone's peeing in the pool, okay? Someone's peeing in the pool and there's not enough pee in the pool to see the pee. But we know it's there. We see him standing there peeing in the pool. Well, at some point, the pool's going to turn the color of pee. And then the public's going to go, what is this? No. And then there's going to be, but I don't think all that'll happen in 1 year. Is you like those metaphors?
Is that it? Is that your only prediction?
Had to work in a restroom related metaphor, right?
Wow.
So, but yeah, I think that there's a backlash coming.
We need more chlorine.
Well, yeah. I think there's a backlash coming, and I mean that on the public side. I think artists are already, they've been pushing back against it, and they feel like they're not really being heard, and they feel like the public doesn't really care. And that's because they can't see the pee in the pool yet. Or maybe they can't even smell it yet. Sorry to get graphic. But eventually, it's going to be evident, and real creators are going to regain their value in the eyes of the public. I really believe that. And that's not false optimism. I really don't think it is. But I think it's going to get darker before it gets light again. I think we're a couple years away from the full-on pushback of that. And some of it may come down to some high-profile instances of the abuse of the AI tech in the public eye. Like some video that gets, I mean, we've seen small instances of this where a video gets circulated and people think it's real and then it's not. Someone's going to do that for the wrong thing. And it's going to be something important, like something happening to a world leader or a political figure, and it turns out to be fake, or some video that comes out of a war zone and it turns out to be fake. And people are going to start waking up. That, even though that has nothing to do with the artist argument, but I think that there's going to be a revulsion against the AI stuff, because I just don't believe that art that lacks that human soul, I don't think it's sustainable long term. You know, I just don't.
Good point.
It's like food that's going to spoil.
A great point, Phil, but rather crudely made.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Now, I'm not going to be able to go to the local pool at all.
No.
Well, you shouldn't.
You need some of that detector stuff, don't you?
So broadly, that's the only prediction that I would have, is I don't think the solution for the AI thing not just because of the slow speed of the courts, that's a factor too. But I don't think the overall solution, like one where artists are feeling like they've got their moorings again, I don't think that's less than a year away. But I do think it's coming. But
So
I think there's going to be some tough road to travel first.
I'd like to add
Um,
two thoughts about AI that I've had
yeah,
as a response to that. So
and
the
then I
first
still
one,
have a couple other things, but yes, please do go, Damien.
okay, well, it kind of goes with it, what you just said. So using your golf analogy, you turn up to the golf course, you place your machine, you press the button to turn it on. No matter what level of golfer you are, if you just do it, the occasional game for fun, you're an amateur or you're a professional. Where's the fun in just pressing a button? Like you play golf, it's meant to be fun. You enjoy yourself playing the game. But if you just all you do is press a button and then you could just go home and let the machine play the game and you go home and do something else.
Man, that is a really, really good point that I did not think about.
Yeah.
There's no satisfaction for the person who creates in that way. And by the way, when we're talking about this, we're not talking about someone like NeuralViz, because pressing a button is not what NeuralViz does. NeuralViz has put these things, he's carrying these things and he's using them as tools. What he does is very, very, very creative. And I bet I'm assuming is it a he or a she? I don't know for sure, but I bet they are getting extreme fulfillment out of that work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet they are. There's just no way in that. You can see it. It's like when you can taste in the food when the chef is happy, that whole old wives' tale. I think that's true for art. Yeah, his films feel loved. And I have seen what you're talking about, Damien. I've seen it happen already in a microcosm. There's some guys that were on Twitter or X that when some of these generative AI movie tools first came about, they made some stuff and actually it was quite good. And then they just move on to something else because it's not fulfilling in them in the same way that you get out of working on Heir to the Empire,
Yeah.
you know? And what you do is much harder and you would think, oh, that's got to be tiring. And yeah, damn right it is, but it's worth it, you know? And I don't think that from the creator perspective, if you're just pressing the button, it doesn't deliver any of that fulfillment at all. So yeah, maybe that's how it will cave in, so to speak.
Yeah.
So,
And that's kind of the reason I don't use AIs for anything I do, because I like doing the work. The work is part of the fun for me. Yeah, some of it can be tedious, but when I've done it, I think I did that. So that is the satisfaction of it. And of course, I like the challenge of it as well. Like the chapter 31 of Heir to the Empire, the 14-minute space battle. I had to animate all those spaceships. I had to animate every single laser. That, of course, that's a lot of work, but I wanted to do it. I didn't want to say, animate me a space battle and then press the button and then it comes back to me however long it takes later. I wanted to say I did that. And that's why I'm going to keep doing what I do. And I'm probably not going to use generative AI because I just have no need for it. There's another point which I was going to make, oh yeah, it's kind of along the same lines. You're talking about the backlash. I'm starting to see some of it already. It again goes back to Heir to the Empire. I've seen a couple of instances of other people doing their takes on adapting the book. One is it's like an anime style. It's AI generated, and all the voices are AI, and they made some adjustments to the story. And then there's another one which is, I think it was done in Blender, but again the voices were AI. And I was reading some of the comments on them, and I don't want to sound like I'm being egotistical about my work when I say this, but people are saying they like mine more because it's not using AI. And this is just people who are watching it. They're not, I'm sure there's some creative people leaving these comments. And people have been leaving comments on mine saying, this is the one that doesn't use AI, so it's better. And I'm not just saying that because it's my work and I'm obviously biased towards my work. That's just something I've noticed other people are saying.
oh, I've seen those in comments on your work. Yeah.
Yeah. And I imagine that, in other videos online, that's probably happening as well, where saying, well, I like this one because it's not using AI. And
Yeah, the curious thing to know about that would, and it's something we can't really know, but it would be what the age bracket is of the people who are saying that, because it could be, I think that Gen Z-ish age, they've felt that way for a long time, like almost from the beginning. And so it
yeah,
could just be they're voicing stuff. But I do think it's going to shift, and we're going to see trickles of shifts of attitude like that. Yeah. So,
yeah.
and I think ultimately that's a good thing. Like, I don't want to see these tools go away. First of all, they're just not going to. But secondly, I don't want to see them go away. I just want to see them find their place,
Mm.
the proper place in the structure of things. And I'd really love to see them used by really creative people.
Mm.
I think that that's really even with old school generative tools that Tracy's mentioned, that she knows people who have been using this stuff for decades in whatever form it was at that time. And there's definitely procedurally generated, technically AI generated tools related to music composition and sound design and things like that. Aphex Twin, some of the stuff that he does is technically a type of AI. I mean, it's not press the button and do nothing. It's very hard work to make innovative sounds, but it's leveraging the tech to where, hey, you're under my control here. So yeah, I think there's a promising future for it, but because of that power grab of taking everybody else's stuff, whether it was thoughtless or whether it was concentrated greed, doesn't matter. It still sucks.
I think
That's corrupted the whole journey here, unfortunately.
one of the other things that I think will help is when random people get bored of generating stuff. I'm not talking about creative people. I'm just saying, the people think, oh, I'm going to play around with this and put something together, and they stick up on YouTube. Because one of the things I encounter with AI content is there's so much of it. I just don't engage with it because it just looks like everything other AI thing. I'm not talking about good AI generated stuff, but just in general. So even when it is something good, I really struggle to get into it because I've just seen so much of it. It's like Halo Machinima. There
Yeah.
was Red versus Blue was pretty good.
Cursed by the ease of how easy it was to make.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I hated Red versus Blue, not because of Red versus Blue, but because there was just so much Halo content and a lot of it was copied Red versus Blue. So you could show me a masterpiece with Halo and I would not want to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think we all feel that way to some degree because
I do think they're in danger of breaking YouTube with it at the moment, though, because there is so much crap on there, isn't there? You can't,
especially in the ads.
Yeah, well,
there's
everywhere.
So many ads, which is supposed to be a doctor talking about this thing you're supposed to put into your body to make it better, or this doctor supposedly citing and it's clearly an AI generated ad.
Yeah.
Again,
but it looks photorealistic.
Again, if they used Midjourney to create that ad and they lose the lawsuit with Warner Brothers, YouTube's going to get rid of that in a flash.
Yeah, they could pull it all.
And it's not just Warner Brothers, it's Disney and Paramount. They've teamed up with Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
it's
it's
got
a
the three
big
of them
deal.
going after them.
Yep.
Very interesting.
All right, so what am I looking forward to for this year? It's very narrow, very specific. I'm looking forward to seeing another film by Deminsky.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Deminsky is the guy who made that 3-part movie called Mission, I think it was.
Yeah.
I have to hope and believe that he's working on something. I have no evidence that he is, but I have to hope that he is. I don't care what tool set he's using, if it's still Source Engine or something else. As a storyteller, I'm very excited to see his next work. I'm excited to continue the journey of the series called The Lonely. We reviewed one of those episodes, I think, during the course of this year. This is the film by the series by The Viz that follows the adventures of the Lone Ranger who is living in essentially in our modern world.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. He's done more, at least one more episode since the one we reviewed, and it's spectacular. There's this like laser tag scene that takes place, and again, it's unpredictable. It's warm. It's very humorous. So I'm excited to follow that series, and I'm really excited to, I think that this coming year is going to have us see the next episode of Forbidden Planet by Big
Ah,
Stretch.
Yeah,
yes.
that'd be good.
He took a little bit of a detour, I think because of some PC hardware issues that he was dealing with. And my understanding is that he got those squared away, and now he has shelved the little side series that he was working on. And I think he's plugging away at Forbidden Planet. I'm very excited to see
Oh,
more of that. So, and
very
then in
good.
terms of retrospect, I think the one thing that is quite significant that we did not mention here, maybe out of fear of some kind of like nepotism or something, is our own Damien Valentine completed a series called Heir to the Empire. And
Yes.
the net runtime of that is it's like equivalent to like a full series of television. I mean, it's very long. And not only completed it, but as I think he's finished remastering and is now re-releasing the remastered versions of it. I know that that didn't all take place during the year of, 24, 25. But what's significant about it to me is that you finished.
Hmm.
And that is not something for big projects, for every big project that we can name here in sight, Torn Seas by Richard Boisvert, I think it was, the Unreal Engine one with all the robots.
Yeah.
That was a feature-length film. Bloodspell. We can think of others. But for every one of those, there's 100 big projects that someone took about, set about to start and did not finish. And so I just want to, as my friend and as a fellow creator, I just want to congratulate Damien on the achievement of seeing it through to completion. And this is during a time when the technology he was making it with was evolving. So he ended up in this George Lucas scenario where he's finished it and then he goes back and looks at the first ones. It's like, wow, they don't look as good as the last ones. And so he went and fixed them. Not fixed, but like went to apply the improvements so that they all have dude, it's an amazing achievement.
Yeah.
And Damien is the first to be modest and defer credit to others. And he's got an amazing cast that voice cast of all non-AI performers, Ricky Grove being one of them. I got a little bit part. It was just a thrill to do. So many talented people doing the voices on that. But in terms of production and creation, and Damien, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Damien's essentially a solo creator. And to produce something of that length and that quality and just stick with it is just amazing. And I'm in awe of you, really. I mean it genuinely. I'm awed by your devotion to this craft, to the project, and I'm not going to curse you by like saying I'm looking forward to Damien producing something else. Like I'm looking forward to Heir to the Empire Part 2 starting because I don't want to. You take your time, man. And if you're going to do that, you do it on your schedule. You deserve a break. But amazing year, and really seriously, just from my heart, I just really so greatly respect and admire your work ethic and your dedication to doing things the way you see is the right way and sticking to that. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what to say to that, so I'll just go with thank you for now. And yeah, part of the reason I'm doing this re-release is like you're right. I did that 31. I feel like chapter 31 is probably the best thing I've ever done. Like I'm proud of all my work, but sometimes you have one
Yeah.
project that really stands out, and for me it's that. And I went back and watched chapter 1, and it's like, how do I convince people to stick with it all the way up to 31 if it looks like chapter 1?
Oh, that's a great point.
And so, unlike George Lucas, I am going to keep the original versions available. Like he got rid of it as
Sure.
it's a necessity. I want people
Right.
to watch whatever version they're happy with. But for me, it's going to be the new one. And I've changed very little. Like it's still the same scenes rendered with it. What I've changed is I've put in the updated character models. So that's consistent on the way through. And I've had to change the lighting because iClone's lighting doesn't work the same way as Omniverse.
Hmm.
And there's a couple other tweaks here and there. But I want to keep it as close to what I did originally as possible, just looking better. But part of the reason I'm doing it this way is um, I'm releasing one chapter a week, two so far, but still got another 30 to go. I've got six left to render, but they're so far ahead that I don't have to worry that I'm going to run out of time with that. But part of the reason is if I release them for 32 weeks, I've got time to, catch my breath. The re-render itself is a rest period as well, because all I've got to do is make those tweaks and then press the render button. That is still fun, like not comparing to the other thing earlier. Because I can have a break and rest and I can read the next book and stuff like that. But it gives me 32 weeks to still release something and feel like I've made something again. But it gives me time to figure out the second book. And I've got a few ideas of something non-Star Wars that I'd like to do in between as well. Just to, as much as I love Star Wars, I don't want that to be the only thing I do.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for that kind words. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, and
My last hope for the future is that NeuralViz will somehow figure out how to bring Prag Snarbo back from the dead.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, I think we've reached a natural conclusion to episode 200 of the And Now for Something Completely Machinima podcast.
Wait. There's one more thing I'm looking forward to.
Oh, go on.
Seeing what films the three of you pick for the next year.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what you pick next year. I mean, we've got, season 6 kicks off immediately with almost no break. Plus, we've got some very exciting new episodes to share with you. The Wonderful World of Sound, which Ricky has put together with Phil, which I can't wait for you to have the opportunity to comment on. And of course, we'd be delighted to hear from you guys, our audience, on any picks that you would like us to take a look at and discuss. We are getting quite a few selections come in now, which is great for us to have a chance to talk about with you. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much from me, from Ricky, from Phil, and from Damien.
Bye-bye.
Bye.